The cats. Mostly clear skies out there in downtown Tampa right now. We've got a chilly start this morning. Temperatures in the mid-30s over the Nature Coast. A few in inland Polk County. They're 37 degrees in Polk City. At the bus stop this morning, though, we've got mostly clear skies. A lot of sunshine on the way. Yes, it will be a chilly start, but a gorgeous day. Mid-40s for the ride into school, the ride home from school. We'll keep the sunshine. We'll actually pull back a little more warmth, too, with temperatures near 70 degrees. Let's roll into that second half of the week and get you closer to the weekend with the full forecast in just a few. And let's bring the tornado threat right into our newsroom. Here's what it starts with. It starts with winds coming in out of a certain direction, right? We talk about this, but it's also the winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And I would argue these are the most important things to watch. The strong upper level winds. Now, those strong upper level winds can be going in the same direction as those surface winds or in a different direction. We call this wind shear. We talk about this all the time when we're leading into a severe weather threat. It's either directional shear or speed shear. Either one of those can produce this, a rotating column of air, and this begins to form and we don't even know it. What we start to see is when thunderstorms start to develop, they tap into this rotating column of air, and that will literally begin to lift that rotating column of air produced by that wind shear. Those updrafts in the thunderstorms eventually could produce this rotating column of air and then tilt it into that vertical direction. When that begins to occur, we could start to see these wall clouds develop. If that wall cloud is strong enough and that wind shear and that rotating column of air all comes together perfectly, that's when we could see a tornado. And as that funnel goes all the way down to the ground, once it reaches the ground, we call that a touchdown, and that's when a tornado hits the ground, and that's when you definitely need to be in your safe place. I want to do that. But hey guys, here's the thing. So we've got these much warmer ocean temperatures, Gulf temperatures to our south and west, and the relatively cooler water just off our coast. Our Gulf temperature right now is around 70 degrees, and that's important, and that's why we see this type of setup this time of year. The water keeps the air right above the surface relatively cool. When we have a southwesterly wind, it draws up that warmer and more moist air from the south and west. And what that does is that allows that cooler air closer to the water to then cool the air that's drawn in from the south and west. And that causes that moisture to condense from that warm air from the south and west. And that condensation is what ultimately produces that sea fog that we mainly see along the coast, but can also move inland. Now, inland, let's talk about this. Hey, I'll tell you what, yeah, a little chilly out there this morning, but as we go throughout the day, perfect day to play a little golf. Look at this forecast. 40s this morning, take the jacket, but later on this afternoon, high temperatures near 70 degrees, mostly sunny conditions all day long. Now, the weather stays great as we go into the weekend, but some changes for early next week.
Yeah, you noticed that light comes on.
Yeah, the little light came on, right? So here's the thing. When we get these, look out. I don't want to get hit by the Jeep there, off four-wheel vehicle there. Okay, so when temperatures get cool, when they drop more than about 10 to 15 degrees, the pressure in our tire is going to drop because the temperature's cooler. For every 10 degrees that the temperature drops, we lose about 1 to 2 PSI in our cars. So that's why the lights have gone on recently. Temperatures will warm, but you're saying it's probably a good idea to air up your tires right now.
And I mean, something you may not realize, you're like, oh my goodness, temperatures drop. Here's this light. What do? I need to go get gas. But here's an explanation of why. And thank you, Grant.
9. I mean, that's 9 too many, in my opinion. But 3 died from flood, hurricanes, tornadoes, and lightning combined. Now, look, 2020 was an odd year, right? Obviously, we weren't going to the beach as much during 2020. Let me take you back to 2019. Look at that number. 26 people died at the hands of rip currents alone here in the state of Florida. Meanwhile, once again, 3 people died because of flooding. That includes flash flooding and just regular inland flooding, hurricanes, tornadoes, and lightning. And that trend is consistent over the years. So rip currents are a legitimate threat that you need to be aware of, and you need to know how to spot them when you go to the beach. Looking at this picture here, beautiful day at the beach, right? There's a rip current there. And it's right where you probably don't expect it. Not where the breakers are, but where there seems to be relatively calm water. That's the channel of water. That's the current that could pull you out and could ultimately cause you to drown. Here's what's going on with rip currents. When you have winds blowing and pushing those waves up against the coast, that water that's being pushed up against the coast needs to go somewhere. And ultimately, the water finds the path of least resistance to get away from the beach. That's usually a break in the sandbar, and it creates that channel. And that rip current flows away from the coast, and that's where you could get caught in and pulled under and taken out to the ocean. The best way to get out of a rip current, don't fight it. Don't try to swim in that current. Swim parallel to the coast. Get out of the current. It may seem counterintuitive, but get out of that current, and then you can safely swim back to shore, and hopefully not being one of those statistics that we've seen year after year after year. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I mean, you're just out shopping, and all of a sudden, everything just comes whizzing by you. The deals fly. Temperatures are going to be flying too this afternoon, right? Temps start off in the 60s this morning, but as we go throughout, we continue our shopping throughout the day. Temperatures warm into the mid-70s by midday. This afternoon, highs will be in the mid and upper 70s. Hopefully you catch your deal. Forecast is a pretty good deal. Let's take a look at that full forecast after the break. Let's take you over to India, specifically here in New Delhi. There's a lot of people over there, right? And a lot of cars to get those people around. Over 10 million vehicles are in New Delhi alone. So you just think about that alone. You have all those emissions, all that pollution that goes into the atmosphere. So that's already there. And then you bring in the festival lights or Diwali, and you have all the fireworks going up into the air. We see this at the 4th of July and New Year's Eve, where we get a lot of the fireworks and that smoke, and it just hangs into the air. The summer winds have decreased over there. So typically the smoke from the fireworks, that just hangs over the city. That combined with, and this is a big factor this time of the year, coming off of the summer harvest, you have a lot of the farmers there in the suburban areas burning the leftovers from their harvest. So that adds a lot of smoke and pollution into the atmosphere. Fortunately, October had very wet conditions, so it's helped improve conditions, and that's what they really look for, is the rain to help clear the atmosphere this time of year. The only thing, guys, is even though it was a wet October, the forecast for New Delhi, one second, somebody's at the door, hold on. Hey guys, come on in, come on in.
Hey.
You perfect timing. Come on in, have a seat. Everything is all ready to go.
This is beautiful.
I mean, nothing like turkey at before 7 o'clock in the morning. We are ready to go.
Good.
Guys, you look so good.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love the pictures. Can I bring a pic of Malcolm X and put them up there?
Yeah. We're all family here, guys. Forecast today. I mean, it's great inside, great outside. Temperatures in the mid and upper 70s. Slow down there, Jabari. But I mean, look, our family photos up on the wall.
Oh,
guys, I'm so thankful for you.
I'm thankful
Going
for you.
outside with the traffic.